Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. How are you today? Feeling good? Feeling great? Wow. Happy to see all of you today. And we are here today for Let's Pass English SPM webinar. And I'm teacher Pushpa from SMK Dato Bentara Dalam. And we have another handsome teacher today with us. And I'm very sure that all of you are waiting to see him. Yes, Mr. Handsome, please say hi to them.
Hi, thank you, Cikgu Pushpa. Hi, everyone, boys and girls. So I am Cikgu Muhammad Fuad bin Mokhtar, an English teacher from SMK Sri Kukup, Pontian. So I'm happy to join Cikgu Pushpa today for a session with all of you. Okay, over to you, Cikgu Pushpa.
Thank you, Cikgu Fuad. Okay, good afternoon once again. Now, our focus for today is SPM Paper 1. I'm very sure that all of you as SPM students know that you'll have to write 2 essays. This is the first one, directed writing, 35 marks, and you also have continuous writing, 50 marks. Now, today we are going to focus on directed writing. You know, right? We have 5 genres. We have informal letter. We have formal letter. We have article. Yeah, okay, good. We have speech or talk, and we also have report writing. This section consists of 35 marks. You know that, right? Well, for the first one, format, you have 3 or 2 marks. Then you have the content point, right? I'm sure that you know you have 12 or 13 marks. And the last one is the language, where you have 20 marks, and your total is 35. And today, we are going to focus on informal letter writing first. I'm sure that all of you are ready with your notepad. Just jot down some notes. Are you ready, guys? Let's go. Now, imagine that this is the question that you have. The first thing that you have to know is the parts of the question. This is the first part, the question, which is also known as a situation. This is the next part. Yes, where you can see all the content points. You know that, right? And here comes the final part, which is the additional instructions. So, as an SPM candidate, you should know that there are 3 parts in a question. Now, let's look at the first part. This is the question. I'm sure that, okay, all of you know as students, before you want to answer the question, you have to read the instructions carefully. Now, let's look at this question. You attended a leadership camp during the school holidays. So the subject is you, and it is during the school holidays. What is the matter? A leadership camp. You obtained a lot of benefits from the camp and would like to share your experience with your cousin. So basically, you are going to write a letter, which you can see here, to your cousin. So if you're writing to your cousin, then you should know that you have to write an informal letter. Right? Are you following? Okay. Now, this is the second part. Yeah, the additional instruction. This is a very important part. Please take note, yeah? Because here you can see the format, which is very important, right? As you read, please label. Here, it is an informal letter. So, you have address and please label as F1. So, what is next? Yeah. greeting, F2. And the last one, well, closure, F3. So now you have 3 marks for your format. Next, yeah, the content points. Now, you all have to know that if you have 3 marks for your format, you are going to have 12 marks for your content. Let's check. Date, C1. Venue, C2. Yeah, let's follow me. Who organized the camp? C3. Number of students involved, C4. Jungle trekking, C5. Treasure hunt, okay, C6. You have C7. You have C8, 9, 10, 11. Here comes 12. So now you know you have 3 marks for your format and 12 for your content. Okay, so you're on the right track. Okay, good job. Now, once you have done that, what you have to do is to see whether you're going to use past tense or present or future. So if you see here, content point 1 until content point 10, you have to use past tense. Okay, whereas content point 11 and 12, you have to use future tense because you want your cousin to take part in this camp next year, right? Okay, now let's start writing the letter. Please take note. You are going to learn some simple but useful tips. Okay, ready? Ciao. This is a question. First, you are going to write the address. Now, for you to write the address, remember, you must write the date. Very important, yeah? So, here comes your address. Now, here you don't have to worry whether your address is right or wrong. Most important thing here is whether you have written your address and you have the date. So, you will get 1 mark for your format. Followed by, yes, the greeting, F2, right? Now, here I give you a few examples. As you can see on the screen, hi Lily, you have Lily, you have dear Lily. Imagine that Lily is the cousin. So what you can do is to just choose one of the examples given here and it will sound like this. Definitely you are going to get F2. As simple as that, right? So are you following, guys? Okay, good. Now let's look at F3, closure. What you have to do is to write yours sincerely and you are going to sign the letter. Okay, remember, you are not going to write now because it's closure. So what comes next? Yes, okay, you are going to write the introduction. Okay, screenshot please. Well done. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Now, this is the format. You have F1 and F2. Okay, here comes your introduction. Now, I'm very sure that, okay, you have learned before, or maybe today, okay, I can share some tips on how to write the introduction. Now, first of all, you have to write well-being. You might be wondering what well-being is all about. Very simple, you know, I mean, you can always say that, okay, hi, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. That is all, okay? So that is actually the well-being. Now, the most important part here is the purpose of the letter. Here, some students might face some problems because they do not know how to write the purpose. Again, it's easy because you can actually take some points or even sentences from the question in order to write the purpose of your letter. Okay, now imagine that this is the question. You attended a leadership camp during the school holidays, so it doesn't belong to you. So what you have to do is to identify the pronoun. So here you have you, try to change you and make it I. Now, you see, you have I attended a leadership camp during the school holidays. I obtained a lot of benefits from the camp and would like to share, since you are writing, you have to change your, and it's going to be my experience with, not your cousin, since you are writing to your cousin, so it's going to be with you. Okay, come again. I attended a leadership camp during the school holidays. I obtained a lot of benefits from the camp and would like to share my experience with you. And now you are going to be surprised now. That's it. Your introduction is done. See? So the first part is the well-being. The one in blue is actually the purpose where you take from the question. You're done. Right? Easy, right? Good. Let's move on. Now the next part is body paragraphs. Here is the part where you're going to write the content points. Okay. Now, this is the first part of the content points. You have details of the camp. Now, for the details, you have 4 points altogether, right? As you can see on the screen now. You have date, C1. You have venue, C2. Now, venue, tempat, place that you should know. Okay. The third one is who organized the camp. And the last one is number of students involved. Here, you have to write the number. Okay. Now, here, you are going to have some tips for writing the content. Okay, now imagine that you're just going to write one date. So the sentence sounds like this. The camp was held on 15th December 2020. If you think that you would like to bring it 2 days, then you can choose the second one. The camp was held from 15th December 2020 till 17th December 2020. Now, you have another example for venue. The venue was Leda Theme Park. Who organized the camp? So here you have to introduce the organizer. The Nature Club of SMK Dato Bentara Dalam organized the camp. And the last one, number of students. Remember, you must write the number. So these sentences are written in one paragraph, and this is how it is going to be like. So you don't worry whether, okay, you should write elaboration or what. The most important thing here is to include the content points and try to write in complete sentences. Okay, just use simple and definitely you are going to get marks for that. Okay, now let's move on to the next part. Yeah, points. You have activities. Okay, here the subtopic is activities. Okay, so you have 4 points here: jungle trekking, treasure hunt, cooking competition, and you have to give one more activity. Well, how to write the sentences? Again, I'm going to give you the tips, and here you can use some language frames in order to construct, okay, sentences. Now, since the main idea of this paragraph is activities, you can just write one, okay, general sentence. Sounds like some activities were carried out. And then you can see some examples of language frames. The first activity was. The next activity was. One more activity was, or the last activity was. So these are what we call the language frames, and you can use this in order to write the content points and to make it as a meaningful sentence, right? Now let's look at the first one. The first activity was jungle trekking. The next activity was treasure hunt. One more activity was cooking competition, and the last activity was performing cultural dances. So you are going to write these sentences in a paragraph form. Here comes your paragraph, and all your 4 points are here, and you are going to get 4 marks here. Okay, so it is actually very easy for you to follow if you could just memorize these language frames. Okay, now let's move on to the next part. Again, all right, content points. Here, the subtopic is benefits. Now you have 2 points here, teamwork, and you have to suggest one more benefit. Let's look at the tips again. Remember, you have the language frames. Just use the language frame and change, okay, the keyword according to the subtopic, right? Here the subtopic is benefit. So what is your keyword? Benefit. So you must include that in your sentence. Okay, I obtained some benefits when attending the camp. That is actually the general idea or the main idea of this paragraph. So let's look at the content points. The first benefit was I learned about teamwork. All right, the next one. One more benefit was I learned about survival skills. Okay, so if you see this in a paragraph form, this is how it is going to be. Okay, so very simple. You don't have to, think a lot. Okay, just use the language frame and you can actually construct grammatically correct sentences. Okay, now you are done with that, and we have one more part of the content points. The reasons for your cousins to join. Remember, this is the last part, right? So here you have to meet new friends, and again, you have to suggest one more reason as content point 12. Well, again, tips. Yeah, okay. So here, the subtopic is reasons, all right? So try to bring in this word, okay, in order to construct the general sentence, or could be the topic sentence as well, okay? So there are some reasons for you to join this camp next year. And of course, after that, you are going to write the content points. Now you can see the examples here. We are actually using the language frame, but we are changing according to the subtopic, right? The first reason is you will meet new friends. The next reason is you can learn to be a good leader. See? Now, let's see the paragraph. Yeah, this is the paragraph. So, I mean, you don't have to write a lot in order to get marks for your content point. As long as your points are written in grammatically correct sentences, definitely you are going to get marks. Okay? Now, once you are done with your content points, yeah, what is next? Conclusion, right? Okay, now how to write a conclusion for a formal letter? And here it is an informal letter. So you might get confused, right? Okay, so since this is an informal letter, you can actually kind of like memorize some of the closing remarks. You can use the same closing remark, okay, in many informal letters, right? Here you can see you have 3 examples. Just choose one in order to conclude your essay. Now let's look here. You have one example. I hope you enjoy reading my letter. Next year, you can take part in this camp. So this is something that you are going to write according to the question that you have read just now. And the one in red is actually the closing remark that you choose from the points given just now. Okay, remember that is not all. Finally, you have to write yours sincerely. Remember your F3, closure. Okay, you should write yours sincerely. Okay, you're safe because yours sincerely can be used, right, in any informal letters. And you are going to get F3. Okay, you are done. Now, let's look at the part of the essay that we have discussed just now. This is the first part. Screenshot, please. This is the second part. Okay, so once you're done, this is your score, right? Since you followed the format correctly, you're going to get 3, and your content 12, and your language 5. So altogether, you're going to get 20 out of 35. Happy, right? Now, this is actually the complete version of the letter that we have discussed. Yes, go for a screenshot. Good. Well done, guys. You can use later if you want to do some revisions. Yeah. Okay. Now, you have already obtained 20 marks. How are we going to get marks? Okay, or more marks for a language? Now, one way is to elaborate the content points. Here, you don't need to elaborate all the points, right? Just write one or two additional sentences for the content points that you think you can bring in the additional details. Okay, this is a letter that we have discussed, right? Very familiar? Okay, good. Right, now we have the address, you have the greeting, and you have the introductory paragraph. You don't have to touch anything here. Now comes the supporting paragraphs. You have 4 points, right? You don't have to elaborate or bring details to all the content points, because some content points, okay, don't really need elaboration. As you can see here, C1, C2, C3. If you think that, okay, you do not want to, okay, write any details, no problem. Okay, maybe point number 4, if you think that you have something to say, 85 students were involved in this camp. All of us were Form 5 students. So you just write something in order to support your content point. Okay, now here comes the next paragraph. C5, the first activity was jungle trekking, right? Now the one in blue is actually the detail, the elaboration. We learned a lot about flora and fauna. So this is how you should bring your supporting details to support your main idea. And you have C6, C7, C8, C9, and C10. One more thing that I would like to share here is that sometimes you can have more than one detail, okay? Like you can see here, point number 7, you have 2. This activity was very interesting. Surprisingly, the boys won. So if you think that you can write more, you just write more. Okay, so you don't have to force yourself to write, each and every content point. You must have 2, not necessary. Okay, right. Now, this is the next part. Again, you managed to bring in the details. And this is the conclusion and your sincere. Okay, now you can see that you have included, okay, some supporting details for the content points, and therefore you are going to see the difference in terms of the marks. So from 20 that you have obtained just now, okay, you're going to get maybe 24, or okay, 25, perhaps 26, because you have, okay, included some supporting details. Okay, don't you think that, okay, you can easily pass now? Right. So, I mean, just try. You don't have to be too ambitious, to write all complex or compound sentences. Okay, you are done. Yes. Okay, this is the complete version of the letter together with the supporting details. Okay, and you can see that you're going to get definitely more than, all right, 20, 3, 4, 5, or perhaps 6. Okay, yeah, let's go for a screenshot. Thank you, guys. All right, now, okay, just now you have learned, all right, step by step, the process on how to address an informal letter. Let's try with this one. This is question 2. Again, you have, okay, 3 parts. This is the first part. You took part in a Go Green Day, okay, in your local area. The aim was to help people learn about the environment. So you have decided to write an article about the Go Green Day for your school magazine. Okay, so when you read the question, remember, you have to analyze the information. Okay, now the genre is, you're going to write an article. Good. Next, additional instruction. Remember, you are going to find the marks for your format. This is an article. Okay, so let's see where you're going to get the marks for your format. You're going to provide a title, as simple, okay, as that. You're going to get 1 mark. And then, okay, you are going to write your name as the writer. So you're going to get F2. Okay, now this is an article and you have only 2 marks for your format. If you have 2 for your format, then you have to know that you should get 13 marks for your content. So let's check this part. Yes, the content points. You have, okay, whether all 13 content points here. Yes, you are done. Okay, so this is how you should check, okay, before you start writing. Okay, now let's start writing. Again, this is a question and it is, okay, an article. Okay, so remember your F1, you have to write the title. If you read the question, the clue is already there, right? You took part in a Go Green Day. So that can be the title. You're going to get F1 and your F2 is to write the name of the writer. So since you are writing, you just write your name, right? Here the example, Shima Jenny. So you have 2 marks in your hand now. Next is your introduction. Remember, what are you supposed to do now? Yes, let's go back to the question. Change the pronoun. So it's going to be, I took part in a Go Green Day in, yes, my local area. The aim was to help people learn about the environment. So you just need to change the pronoun and make it yours. And here, jang, 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 comes your introduction. Very simple, but still it is an introduction, a very meaningful introduction. I took part in a Go Green Day in my local area. The aim was to help people learn about the environment. So just follow this kind of simple steps in order to write your introductory paragraph. So next, okay, your content points. You have C1, 2, 3, 4, right? And here comes the example. Remember where, meaning that you have to say the location. And when, okay, you have to say either date, right? Who organized, the organizer, and who were involved. Okay, now you can see the examples here. The camp was held at Permata Theme Park. It was held on October 2020. You don't have to write 22nd, yeah? It is accepted. You don't have to write 22 and then ND. It is still accepted. The camp was organized by the Nature Club of Segamat. The Form 5 students of SMK Jaya were involved. Okay, now this is the next part. Okay, here the subtopic is topic itself. So this is how you are going to write your sentences. Remember to use the language frames that you have learned just now. If it is reason, the first reason is. If it is a topic, the first topic is. Since it is past tense, so you have to use was. The first topic was protecting animals, C5. Another topic was learning about plants, C6. One more topic was dealing with rubbish. So you are going to get 3 marks here. Now, this is another part of the content points. Go Green Day activities. Here, one important thing that you should know is the extra detail, okay, as you can see here. Give details for each activity, meaning to say that you must, okay, give at least one detail for the content point. And these details can be in a word form, phrases, or sentences. Okay, let's see how, okay, these details are written with the content points. Some Go Green Day activities were carried out. The first activity was a talk by expert. Okay, so if you just talk there after writing talk by expert, you are not going to get C8 because you should provide at least one detail. Okay, so the one in brown, Mr. John gave the talk is the detail for the content point. So you will get C8. Another activity was making a garden within 2 hours. So making a garden is the content point, whereas within 2 hours is the detail. So you can bring in the detail, okay, together with the content point to make the sentence meaningful. So you'll get C9. One more activity was recycling. We recycled many things. Just write simple sentences as the details. The last activity was cooking competition. We cooked happily. Okay, just write simple sentences in order to support the content points. Okay, this is the next part. Conclusion, your best memory, and why you think students should go, okay, to the Go Green Day next year. Now, this is just the example. I won in the cooking competition. That is my best memory of the Go Green Day. You are going to get C12. I think students should go to the Go Green Day next year because they can make any friends. Okay, so the one in black is the overall conclusion for your article. In conclusion, Go Green Day was successful. We should organize it every year. Just write something which is very simple in order to conclude your article. And you are done. So this is your score. And yeah, you are going to get 20 marks. And this is the first part of the article. You can have a screenshot if you want so that you can use this, okay, as reference materials in order to do revisions later. Okay, this is the second part. And this is actually the overall, okay, picture of the article that we have discussed. Okay, so your total here is 20. Why 20? Because you don't actually elaborate all the content points or perhaps most of the content points. Okay, so how to get more marks for the language? Yeah, students, how to get more marks for the language? Yeah, what do you have to do? Yes, okay, try to elaborate the content points. And I think that, okay, you have learned connectors, you know, besides, moreover. Please use, okay, those connectors so that your essay will sound, okay, better. Okay, so go for a screenshot again. Okay, well done, guys. Good job. Okay, so so far you have learned, okay, two types of directed writing, the informal letter as well as the article. And I'm sure that, okay, you are waiting for more tips, okay, from, of course, okay, Cikgu Fuad. And I'm very sure that, okay, Cikgu Fuad is waiting for you. Over to you, Cikgu Fuad.
Hi, thank you, Cikgu Pushpa. Thank you very much. So, hi everybody. How are you guys?
How are you guys?
Okay. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, okay, before I start my presentation, I have looked at some of your comments. Okay, some people say hi. So I would like to say hi to some of you. So Aiman, Mira, Surya Mobin, how are you? Vignesh, Nadini. Okay, I saw also comment by Naushad and Rahman. Okay, so thank you very much for joining. For those who have just joined, so let us enjoy our session after this. So I'll continue, I'll take over from after Cikgu Pushpa. Okay, so I'll be explaining about another two format. Number one, I'll be talking about formal letter, and another one, I'll be talking about report. Okay, so this is the question that we always ask ourselves when we receive the question paper. What should I do? Okay, so basically, by now, you should know. Okay, but I would like to repeat what, you know, your teacher may have said and also what Cikgu Pushpa have said. Okay, now, so first thing first, what you need to do is you need to read and understand the question. If you do not understand the question on your first reading, perhaps you need to reread the question. Okay, baca dulu. Okay, next after that, you may need to highlight or underline certain keywords in the question. So later after this, we will look at that. Okay, and after we have highlighted the words and questions, we need to scribble and make notes. Why do we need to make notes? Because we need to plan. Okay, and after planning, we write the essay. So I will go through all this process with you today. Okay, now this is a sample question that you receive in the examination. Okay, so basically, when you see the question, what do you need to do? Apa yang you nak buat? Okay, now for me, I would suggest for you to divide the question into 3 segments. Bagikan kepada 3. So we got the top part, we got the middle part, and we got the bottom part. 3 parts, okay? So these 3 parts have their own role. Ada fungsinya, there are certain functions that you need to know. So the top part is very important because that is where you can create your introduction and also the idea of the whole essay. The middle part is where you can find the content marks. So this is where your body paragraphs will be. And the bottom part is where the reminder of how are you going to write the format. For example, let's say if you forget how to write the formal letter, this is where you can find the clue. The clue is here. Okay, let me show you the top part first. Okay. Now, this is the top part. Let us read together. Okay, you have just returned from a visit to a park. You found the park in poor condition. Write a letter of complaint to the town council based on the notes you have made. Okay, so what should we do with this top part? Okay, there are three things that you need to look for. Tiga benda yang kena cari. FAT. Okay, format, audience, and title. Okay, so how can we find the format? Very easy, because usually the format is in bold. Okay, so here you can see a letter of complaint over there. Audience is to who? To who are we going to write it for? And the title is what is the question all about? Okay, so basically you can see, okay, the format again, as I told you, a letter of complaint. To who is to the town council. And the title or the theme of what you are going to write about is the park in poor condition. Okay, so you have to keep these three things in mind, okay, before you start writing. Okay, let's us proceed. Okay, from that three things now, you can start writing your introduction. So there are a few steps for you to write your introduction. Okay, the first step is, firstly, you need to find the word you or your and change it into I, me, or mine. Okay, now let us find the word you here. Can we try to find it? Okay, there are three yous here. The first one is you have, another one is you found, and the last one you have made. Okay, now we change to I. So we have, I have just written, I found the park and I have made. Okay, is it enough? Well, not yet. Okay, yes, after that, you need to find the audience and change it to you. So the audience we have identified in our first, before this, in the first slide just now. Okay, so the town council, we need to change it to you. Okay, town council, change it to you. Okay, now, are we done? Of course not, because the last sentence sounds funny, right? Write a letter of complaint. So, if let's say there is an instruction, ayat suruh, write, okay? So you add a phrase in front, tambahkan ayat, I want to. Okay, so it will be like this. I want to write a letter of complaint to you based on the notes I have made. Okay, so basically if you follow step 1, step 2, step 3, you will have a complete introduction. However, if let's say you want to make it much better, you may want to add some details, okay? Like adding your own name, adding a place or day where it fits. Okay, for example, over here, okay, I am Sabrina Sahri. Okay, I have just returned from a park in Pontian. Okay, so this is your own introduction, okay? Taken only from the introduction, not that difficult, right? Okay, taklah susah sangat. Okay, everybody can do this. Okay, this if only, let's say, for example, you are unable to think of a proper introduction. But if you can write your own, please do so. Okay, now, I think you have taken a screenshot for this one. Perhaps we want to look at the bottom part of the question. Okay, now, so as I told you before, the bottom part is the clue on how are you going to write the format. For example, here, when writing your letter, you must lay out the letter correctly. Addresses, date, salutation, title, closing. So these 5 elements are the format for a formal letter. Okay, but for a formal letter, it's a little bit tricky because there's not only 5, there are quite a lot to write. Okay, so let us look at it one by one. For format number 1, in order for you to get 1 mark for format, you need to write the sender's address, and after that, the receiver's address, and then the date. Okay. To get format number 2, you need to write the salutation and also the title. Cikgu, what is salutation? Okay, later I'll show you an example what is salutation. Okay, now format number 3, sign off, signature, and your name. If the question asks you and give you a post, then you also need to write your post. But your name is very important. Okay, let us look on how are you going to write example of format, yeah? Okay, so now on top you have, there you go, the address. This one is the sender's address, okay? And then you have a horizontal line, garis panjang, and then you have the receiver's address. So for this question, okay, you have to write to a town council, so you write to the chairman, okay? So it depends on the question. It can be the chairman, it can be to the director, it can be to the manager, it can be to the teacher, the principal, okay? Depends on the question, okay? And then we have the date over there, 10 April 2020. Okay, now for months, I would really advise for you to use only 3 months. The first one is April, the second one is September, and the third one is November. The reason why I suggest you all these 3 months is because the spelling is the same with Bahasa Melayu. Okay, most of you sometimes make spelling errors on months, so be careful. Okay, after that, okay, this is what salutation is. Okay, for salutation, actually you can choose whether to write sir, or perhaps madam, or perhaps you may add the word dear, the word of endearment. Okay, dear sir, dear madam also can. But to make it simple, sir is enough. Okay, now, and then you have the topic, the title. Okay, okay, done. Okay, for the topic, it's up to you whether you want to underline it. But if you decide to underline the topic, please underline using the same colored pen. Guna pen warna yang sama. If you write in black, then in black. If you write in blue, then in blue. Okay, the bottom, okay. Now, so 1, 2, 3, addresses and the date, you will get F1. Okay, sir and park in poor condition, you will have F2. Okay, now this is the top part of the format. We look at the bottom part of the format. Okay, yours faithfully, okay, underline, and then your name and your post, if there is any. Okay, remember to write yours faithfully, YOURS. Do not forget the word, the letter S at the back, and only use yours faithfully for formal letter. Okay, so again, yours faithfully and your name, you get F number 3. So you get 3 marks for that. Okay, we are done with the bottom part. Now we are moving to the middle part, where the content is. I think this is the easiest one for you to identify because you have been doing this before. Okay, so let us just put C1 until C12 for all points. So C1, which part? C2, where? C3, when? Okay, so the first 1, 2, 3, they give you a question and you need to answer all the 3 questions. Okay, complaints, C4, not enough facilities. C5, rubbish everywhere. C6, dirty public toilets. C7, information lacking. And C8, okay, give one more complaint. So now this one, you need to add your own points. Okay, C9, poster. C10, stricter rules. C11, cut grass. And the last one, also give another more suggestion. So you need to also give another suggestion. Okay, so now let us look at each point. Okay, so the park. Okay, so which park, where, and when? So because, you can start off with, I would like to talk about the park. Okay, so answer C1, C2, and C3. Okay, C1, the park is Tanjung Piai Park. Okay, very direct. So you got C1 for mark. Okay, The park is in Pontian. Okay, so you get point number 2 for where. And number 3, for content point number 3, I went there last week. That answered the question when. So if you write these 3, very simple, you'll get 3 marks. Okay, you can also combine all the 3 points. For example, last week, during the holidays, I went to Tanjung PI Park in Pontian. So you will also get 3 points for this. Okay, now moving on to the next point. Okay, complaints, give details for each complaint. Okay, you can see the word details are in bold. So C4, not enough facilities, C5, rubbish everywhere, and so on. Let us see how are we going to make details. Okay, a tip for you guys. When you are required to write details, it doesn't mean that you need to elaborate in one paragraph. Okay, details can be a word, can be a phrase, or even a sentence. Okay, so for example here, C4, there were not enough facilities in the park. There were no restaurants. Okay, so there were no restaurants is the detail for C number 4, and then you will get content point number 4. If you do not give details, then you will not get content point number 4. Okay, content point 5, there were rubbish everywhere. I saw rubbish under the trees. Content point number 6, the public toilets were dirty and smelly. Okay, you see the word smelly over there? That explains the public toilets were dirty. So that is the detail for the public toilet, and you will also get point for that. Okay, easy, isn't it? Okay, now C number 7, the information on the park was lacking. I got lost there. And C number 8, okay. Okay, now let us go to C number 9. C number 8 did not pop up. No problem, just proceed with C number 9. Okay, suggestion. Here are my suggestions. Okay, because they are suggestion, you need to use the phrase you should and you must. So you should put up posters at the park. So elaboration, the posters will make visitors aware of cleanliness. C number 10, you must make rules and penalty. C11, you should ask the gardener to cut the grass. So C10 and C11, okay, the details are there already, okay. Now for C12, you should ask the janitor to clean the public toilets. Okay, cikgu, maksud janitor tu apa? Okay, janitor maksudnya ialah tukang pembersihan or cleaner that you call in school. Okay, now let us go to the closing. Okay, these are phrases, okay, sentences that I have, my friend shared with me. So I think it's very helpful for me to share with you. Okay, so closing, this closing can be applied to every single writing, any format. For example, I have come to the end of my letter. I hope you have understood what I have shared or written. I also hope that I have given you all the information that you need. Okay, this one you can use. Remember this one. Okay, take a screenshot and you can use for every single format. You can use it for letter, report, article, speech and talk. Easy, isn't it? Okay, senang aja. Okay, don't worry. Okay, now let us write. Okay, now let's go to writing. Okay, so basically this is how your writing will look like. We got the address, then line. After that, we got the receiver's address, the date again, and then sir, and the title, and the introduction that you have prepared just now. Okay, so this is the top part of the formal letter. Okay, now you get F1, you get also F number 2 for this one. Okay, continue writing. Okay, now for paragraph number 2, you will have, start with point 2, okay? Point 2, 3, and 4, and point number 5, paragraph number 5 over there. Okay, you can see there, okay, C3, C1, C2, C4, C5, C6, C7, C8, until C number 12 are there. Okay, so you will get all content points. Okay, and then you continue writing yours faithfully, your signature, and then your name. And then you are done. Okay, now you may ask, cikgu, kalau saya tulis content not according to sequence. Okay, isi tak ditulis mengikut turutan. Don't worry, as long as it is there, then you will get point. But if possible, please write in sequence. Okay, so we are done with formal letter. Okay. Now, let us move to report writing. Okay, so for report writing, okay, the process is also the same as what we have done in formal letter. So again, look at the question and then divide the question into 3 parts. Okay, the top, the middle, the bottom. Okay, for intro, for body paragraph, and also the format. Okay, and then look at one by one again. So look at the top. Okay, so the top, during the last school holidays, your school hosted a week-long visit for international students. As one of the students involved in organizing the visit, you have been asked to write a report to the teacher advisor. Okay, again, format, audience title. I think by now it's easy, right? So format, okay, in bold, okay, a report, okay, to who is to the teacher advisor, and the title is a week-long visit for international school. Okay, so we have there 3, report, teacher advisor, a week-long visit for international school. So keep in mind these 3 points. Okay, moving on how we are going to write our intro. Again, find the word you or your. Okay, now you need to change I, me, or my, or perhaps change to our. For example, like this. Okay, your school. If you change it into my school, well, basically it doesn't sound right because you do not own the school. So it should be our school. Okay, so see there, our school hosted, and also I have been asked. Okay, step number 2, you find the audience. So in the first step, we have already identified the audience. So the audience is the teacher advisor. So change it to you. And then after that, okay, again, try to add more details about you. So again, I use the same name. I am Sabrina. Okay. If any Sabrina is here watching, please write and say hi and give comments. Okay. And then you add, okay, I add the name of the school, SMK Sri Cempaka. Okay. Okay. Now, let us move to the bottom, which is the format, where you can find the format. Okay. For report, not that difficult. 3 format marks. The first one is write to the teacher advisor, the title, and your name as the writer. Okay, very easy, very direct forward. So if the question that come out this is report, I think you will be happy, right? Okay. So next, how are we going to write? How will it look like? So start off to the teacher advisor. If you want to write the name, go on. But because the question requires you to write to the teacher advisor, you must write the phrase, the teacher advisor. Kalau tulis nama aja, contoh for example, you write Cikgu Pushpa. Because, tapi you tak tulis teacher advisor, you will not get mark. You will need to write the teacher advisor. Okay, after that, write the title. So the title is a report on a week-long visit for international students. So I would advise you to start off your title with the phrase, a report on. And after that, at the bottom, you write reported by and your name. For example, Jimmy Chang. Very simple, right? Okay, now let us move on. Okay, so again, you get F1, you get F2, and F3 if you write all these 3 formats. Okay, now the middle part, the content. So again, we need to number the content points, okay? The number, nationality, age group, okay? Good for international relations. Give one more reason, where, cooking lessons, traditional games. Give one more activity, beautiful beaches. Give one more opinion, and give one more recommendation. So there are 12 content points. So when you got the question, please write all C1 until C number 12, because if not, I'm afraid you may forget 1 or 2. Okay. Now, okay, C1, C2, C3. So I would like to write about the international students. There were 40 international students. For C number 2, they came from Korea. Okay, any Korean fans over here? If you like, to write Americans, also can, no problem. Okay, number C3, all of them were 18 years old. Okay, now C number 4, C5, and C6, there are a few reasons for the visit. Okay, the visit is good for international relation. For C number 5, it is also a good way to get new knowledge about other countries. For C6, the accommodation was at a nearby hotel. You can choose where, because accommodation means tempat tinggal. Okay, so it can be a hotel, it can be a hostel, it can be a homestay. Okay, as long as the place is logical. Okay, now for activities, content point 7, content point 8, and content point 9. Okay, we did cooking lessons together. We cooked nasi lemak. Okay, now I add nasi lemak over here as details. Okay, we also played traditional games like congkak and batu seremban. And last one, we also performed a traditional dance together. Okay, if you want to write a sample of traditional dance, and it's up to you. Okay, beautiful beaches. We have the C10. They said that we have beautiful beaches like Pulau Perhentian and Pulau Rawa. They also enjoyed eating our traditional food. They say it was delicious. And C12, I hope that we will have another international visit from Japan next year. Okay, again, it depends on you whether you like Japan, Korea, okay, or America. No problem. Okay, again, this is the same closing that I have shown you in the previous slide. This is shared by my friend. So, okay, again, I've reached the end of my report. I hope you have understood what I have shared with you. I also hope that I've given you all the information that you need. So screenshot this one and you can use it in any writing that you have. Okay, now let us move on, okay, to the writing part. Okay, now let's write. Okay, to the teacher advisor, okay, you get F1 and then write the topic, a report on a week-long visit. Okay, we got F2 and then you write your introduction and all the content points over there as what we have discussed earlier. Okay, you got C1 until C9 here on the top part and continue at the bottom part. We have, okay, a continuation of C number 10 until C number 12. Okay, all points are there. And then you write for F3, you write reported by Sabrina Sahari, and you will get a full mark for content and also format. Okay, that's it for report. Easy, isn't it? Okay, so I have explained my part. So now we have reached our Q&A session. Okay, so if you have any question and if you have typed in the comment section, perhaps this is a time where we will try to answer all your questions. Okay, do we have any questions? Let us see. Oh, no need to write the sender's name. This one is for which format? Okay, now, okay, Mikhail, thank you for your question. Okay, a good question. No need to write the sender's name. So I'm not sure which one. Okay, perhaps I think you are referring to formal letter, right? Okay, now you can write the sender's name. It's okay, but if you look back at the question, at the bottom part of the question, it is written the addresses. Okay, it doesn't require you, doesn't ask you to write the name of the sender, right? So because if it is not written in the question at the bottom part, so no point in writing that. Okay, so you just need to write the address. I think that is enough. But I think that's no problem if you write the sender's name, as long as the address is there. Okay, thank you, Mikhail Mirza, for your question. Okay, Subhashini Amurugam, thank you very much. Okay, name of sender will be the first thing we write before sender's address. Must there be a line drawn after the sender's address? Okay, Cikgu Pushpa, would you like to answer this question, Cikgu Pushpa?
Okay, Cikgu Fuad, I'll take it. All right, thank you. Yes, Subhashini, thank you for your question. Right now, I think she's referring to formal letter writing, if I'm not mistaken. right? Name of sender will be the first thing we write before sender's address. I think this is what Cikgu Fuad has explained just now. You don't have to write your name when you write the sender's address, because when you conclude, remember, yours faithfully, after you sign, you are going to write your name. So that is already good enough. Okay, right. So I think I have answered the first part of your question. Subhashini, are you okay? Right, now let's move on to the second part. Must there be a line drawn after the sender's address? Well, actually, you are advised to draw the line. You know why? The line will differentiate, okay, between the sender's as well as the receiver's address. So the line is very, very important. If you don't have the line, perhaps, okay, it's going to be a very long address. Okay, so it's always better for you to have the line in on sheet. Okay, these two. Thank you. Is there any possibility the question demands us to write a report based on statistics chart? If yes, how do we tackle the question? Cikgu Fuad, would you like to try, or
Okay, I will. Okay,
it's on report?
okay. Thank you, Cikgu Nurul. Is it Cikgu? I'm not sure. Okay, Cik Nurul Shahida Daud. Thank you for the question. Okay, I am not sure about this actually, but there is always a possibility because the question is set by lembaga peperiksaan, because it's a lembaga, right? We never know what the question will come out. But if, let's say, the question is write a report about based on a statistic or chart, well, you may need to look at the statistic first, and you need to describe in detail what is your understanding based on the chart. Okay, but most probably, I don't think that is possible. I'm not sure. What do you think, Cikgu Pushpa? This is quite a tricky question, actually.
Well, I think it's going to be a kind of like a different way of writing the report. Okay, so that one will be a different way of doing or writing the report by, okay, using the statistics or in fact a chart. Okay, so if that is the case, that will be another, okay, kind of like giving tips, to the students in order to answer this kind of questions, especially in report writing. Yeah.
Okay, Subhashini, thank you very much for the second question. If Jimmy Chang has a position, for example, president of Interact Club, can I write that below his name, followed by name of the school? Can? Yes, of course you can. Okay, but again, you need to look at the question, the bottom part of the question where the format is. If, let's say, you are required to write the name, so the name is a requirement. The post is not required. But if, let's say, in the bottom part of the question, written there, the name and the post, then you need to write the post. Okay, I think it's clear, right?
Teacher, if I miss some content, is my language mark increased also? Okay, I'm just reading as what you have written, yeah? Well, as you have learned just now, we have 3 for format, or perhaps 2, okay, if it is an article most of the time, and you have either 12 or 13 for your content. And your question now is actually whether you're going to, okay, get low marks for your language. Now, it is always better for you to include all the content points given, knowing that each and every content point, okay, is going to be, okay, awarded 1 mark. So by right, okay, I mean, you have been doing a lot of exercises, your teacher would have taught you as well. Try not to miss, okay, the content point, okay, because from there you will get maybe 12 or 13. Because when you write, okay, all the content points, definitely, okay, you are helping yourself in order to get more marks for your language. Okay, so better don't miss any content points. Thank you.
Okay, then we got another question from Daniel Haikal. Thank you, Daniel. Sir, what we should use in report, present tense or past tense? Okay, now it depends on the question. Okay, if, for example, let's say in the report, ask you to write an event that has been done in the past. For example, just now, a report on an international students visit, that one has been done, so you need to write in past tense. Okay, but some of the points there in that question, for example, I think future, what was the sentence I lupa dah. Okay, future opinions, okay, your view on future students visit. That one is a point that you need to write in the future tense, because your hope in the future. Okay, so it depends on the points actually. Okay, so you really need to identify and look at the question, whether you should write in past or present. Depends on the question. Okay, do we have any more questions? I am, okay. Rafika, thank you very much. I am confused to write address between formal letter and informal letter. Is it the same? Well, the answer is, of course, it is not the same. Okay, again, Rafika, if you are confused on how to write the address, what you need to do is you look at the bottom part of the question. Okay, look at the requirement of that format and just write what is required. Okay, for example, let's say, okay, for informal letter, you need to write the address, okay, and then the date, okay, and then I think you will need to write dear, your name, okay, and then in the end you sign off. Okay, if it is that is what required in the last part of the question, then you write that. Okay, so for example, let's say when you are trying to answer, you are confused. Okay, don't worry, just write what is required. Don't worry much about like writing in the left, okay, on the right or on the left. Okay, as long as as long as the content, the format is there, sorry, the formats are there, then you will get marked for format. So don't worry. Okay. I think there's a question for you, Cikgu Pushpa.
Yeah, let me read first. Yeah, Cikgu Puan. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
My question is about the informal letter. Okay. Okay, and now a question is asking whether to spell, okay, the month, the way the month should be written. Since it is very informal, you don't need to, okay, you can just use number, okay. If it is, okay, the month of October, you can just write 10 there because it's very informal, okay, right. I think I've answered your question. Thank you.
Okay, again, Aisyah Rahman, again, I think this is almost a similar question. What happened which I don't know this format question? Kalau Aisyah tak tahu macam mana nak tulis format, again, tengok dekat bahagian bawah soalan. Okay, the format is there. Contoh, for example, a report asks you to write to the teacher advisor, okay, maybe to the principal, and then ask you to write the title, and then you as the sender. Okay, so ikut je. Just follow what is required at the bottom part of the question. Okay, tak tahu kiri kanan cikgu, no worries. Okay, thank you Zenzi. Formal letters note of thanks must write at next paragraph, right? Okay, okay, this one I'm not sure what was like, what do you mean? Okay, thank you, is it? Okay.
I think maybe the phrase, thank you.
Okay, no, I think it doesn't matter where, because thank you is like as a symbol of polite of writing to someone. It can be in the same in the last paragraph, or it can be like separated, only a line thank you. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the mark anyway. Okay, thank you, Subhashini. The third question, very good.
Yeah. How many content points can be elaborated in one paragraph? Okay, can we place 2 content points in one paragraph? Okay, now here the number of paragraphs is not the matter. Okay, the most important thing is you have included all the content points. If you see the explanation given just now, you have parts in the content points. Okay, we have got, for example, topics, reasons, activities. So what you can do is actually to follow the subtopic. just put all those content points in one paragraph. But then if you have, let's say, 6 content points, okay, under one subtopic, you can just divide into 2 paragraphs. Perhaps you can have 3 in one paragraph with the details, and maybe, okay, content point 4, 5, 6, okay, should be written in the next paragraph. Okay, now can we place 2 content points in one paragraph? Well, okay, yeah, you can have more than 1 content points. Okay, sometimes you can even write 2 content points in one sentence, as long as your sentence is grammatically correct. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not sure from who because I cannot read Korean. Okay, now, so does that mean it's okay if the address is not completed? It still needs district or postcode. Okay, how about this one, Pushpa? I think, okay, Cikgu Pushpa, anything to say about this one?
Okay, now, postcode, if possible, just write any numbers, okay? They are not going to see whether the number exists or not as our postcode, okay? Since you know that, okay, you need at least 5 digits, just write 1, 2, 3, 0, 0. As long as, okay, the figure is there in order to indicate that is a postcode, okay? So my personal advice is better to include, okay? Maybe because it's a formal letter, they might consider this, okay, as one of the important elements in order to be awarded 1 mark for the format. Okay, right. Anything to say, Cikgu Fuad?
Okay, now again, another question from Karima again.
Karima Omar.
Okay, thank you, Karima. For the formal letter, is it a must to write the number before writing the content point? For the formal letter, is it a must to write the number before writing the content point? I'm not sure what the. Do you understand the question, Cikgu Pushpa? What number? Is it paragraph?
Is she asking about numbering of the paragraph?
I think
okay.
paragraph. Okay.
Paragraphing, I think, you know. I mean, we will put 2, you know, for the second paragraph and 3. Yeah. Okay, it's writing number in formal letter. Okay, not really, not really. But then it is always better for you to follow the format because it is a formal letter. Okay, so better to follow. Okay, thank you.
Okay, now from Luffy, thank you. Teacher, I have some questions. Sometimes I forgot that the signature should be on the right or left. Is it, it is 4 letters. Sometimes I confuse. If I am wrong, right, is it I will lose I will lose the mark? Okay, now, I think I've mentioned before, it doesn't really matter whether you write it on the left or on the right. Okay, as long as what is needed is written. Okay, for example, let's say, as long as, for example, here you have the signature, I think it's okay whether it's left or right. But if possible, if you can remember, that would be much better. Okay, but just remember that if left or right is not much of importance, but top to bottom is different. So make sure if, let's say, the format need to be right at in the ending, so you need to write at the end. You cannot put on top. For example, signature need to put at the end, so you need to put it at the end, not on top. Okay, but left or right, I think both is okay. Okay, thank you so much for both teachers. Very clear explanation for all students and good tips also. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, thank you also.
Thank you, Kartik.
Thank you, Cikgu Nur Shakira
No,
Isabel. Thank
Shakira.
you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Subhashini. I have fun.
Thank you so much.
I hope you guys have fun too.
Thank you, Shubhashini.
Okay, now don't forget to watch
Yeah.
our next webinar on the 31st of December 2020. It is on a Thursday. Okay. Okay, do we have any more questions coming in? Okay. Okay, if we do not have, I think we do not have any more questions. Okay, do not forget, viewers, try to like and subscribe our JELDR YouTube channel. Okay, and stay tuned and you will get more information about what we are going to do next in our future webinars. Okay, so from me, thank you very much. Okay, everybody, I have fun with all of you. Thank you also, Cikgu Pushpa, and goodbye from me. Okay, Cikgu Pushpa, over to you.
Hi all. Okay, one more time. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really hope that you have learned something. Okay, simple tips, and definitely these tips are going to be very very useful. Okay, in order to answer your SPM question. Remember, just follow the tips. Definitely, you are going to pass your SPM. Yes, here we go. Thank you so much, and see you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.